Hey, BIP was Our Interest Productions, and while I was busy over the weekend, I found an image talking about all kinds of Beyblade fans used by BeyFanCat on Twitter. Now, I know my editing has been all over the place this month especially, but because this is someone else's content that they made and based on how well detailed it is, I want to give them the credit they deserve. So, follow BeyFanCat on Twitter. She's a cool person who cares a lot about the franchise, who low-key inspired like 3 videos on this channel. She's a minor, so don't be weird about or to her. And I'll put the link to her content in the description as well as the tweet that inspired this. The question is, will I use her image for the thumbnail, or am I going to make my own that doesn't look too lazy but mirrors what she's going for? And if I'll be able to get it out on time. Okay, I'll try to record it, get some sleep after work, buy food to wake myself up, then edit it if I don't fall asleep again. If this doesn't get out Thursday night, hold me accountable. So before we begin, type Beyblade fans are interesting in the comments, so let's get started since I actually wrote down everything I wanted to say while reacting initially, so this should be fun. Okay, first up I saw was Historian. Well, I don't remember every single aspect of the Beyblade franchise. I could basically give you like a solid summary, and with like a few things, I could cover almost everything. But the only thing I haven't seen is Cyborg, and I feel like I need to do a proper rewatch of V4 so I can remember everything. The funny thing is, a few months ago, I actually had 100 Facts About Beyblade X video, at least for Season 1, but I didn't get a chance to record it. Okay, I don't have a favorite generation, and that's going to be relevant for a future video, but like, they're all about equal to me, and I'll talk about that, but I don't dislike any of them. 24/7 on computer doing research about Beyblade. I mean, I don't have a Twitter account regarding this channel, so I'd have to try to be anonymous, but if I can get in contact with at least Versus mangaka, it would help to shed some light on a few things that I've been wondering about. What the info that they have might as well become a Beyblade novel. Okay, you know what, I'll take that, because it is novel November after all. Okay, Fangirl. Obsessed with Shu, Free, and Louie. You know what, they're not even my favorite characters from this generation. I mean, I do like them, but still. Burst is the only generation where I'm going to put Fanboy in this list because these characters happen to have some of the most toxic and unfun fandoms. Like, I'm not going to lie, if I saw the way that some Burst fans treat other characters or other fans, your goats would absolutely hate you. Like, Louie has shown more respect to some characters than you guys have. Well, some people. Most of you guys are fine. Has a bland female Beyblade OC and shipped them with almost every single Burst boy. Okay, I'm not going to lie, can I blame any woman or female in this fandom who wants to do that? Like, until X, we barely had more than 30 female characters, and a number of them who had their own Beyblade was like at least less than 25 at best. Plus, half the time they would just use a female character and just give them more to do. I really gotta read the Sasha fic one of these days. Makes very cringe art. Like, that's subjective. As long as you're having fun, you're not hurting anyone, draw whatever you want. But if it's 18 plus content, do put a warning. Ooh, crossover freak. Okay, this one I would be fine with associating with. Yeah, I would be down for a Beyblade generation crossover. Not at the point that I would get mad at other seasons that exist, but it would still be cool. Comparison between Beyblade, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Digimon, and Bakugan, I've definitely made those before. Yes, I do have an appreciation for all the generations to some degree, but I actually haven't seen the rip-offs. From what I've heard of Kat's tweet, I know that she has, so I guess check out her account for more since I believe she talks about it every now and then. I guess I suffered the most because I have so much knowledge and thoughts about the show and the community that's not always the most civil or respectful towards other parts of the show, besides the one that either they grew up with or they personally like since... Okay, Stranger. Oh, wait, oh, no, Fanboy was supposed to be the start of it. Oops, okay, let me stay with the middle row first, and then I'll go to the top row. Okay, Stranger, some random weeb who hates Beyblade. Fun fact about me, I actually don't use the term weeb at all because I feel like it's really dumb to give people a name just because they watch something. Like, we don't call people who watch teen drama deans. We don't call people who watch reality TV REITs or something. Says how Beyblade is for kids and not as popular as a shonen anime. That is definitely some anime grifters that just wants everyone to be miserable. But I feel like the big part of that group of hobby anime or toy or fictional sports shonen with Yu-Gi-Oh! And the rest are like that one like semi-category, which doesn't make it a ripoff, but you know people like to make negative comparisons instead of positive ones. I mean, personally, if you're a random stranger or newcomer of Beyblade, and even though you're skeptical, if you want to give it a chance, I would actively encourage that because it's much more fun to bring in people who are just ignorant rather than to just dismiss them if they just don't know that much. Ooh, redditor. Gay for Ryuga, homophobic, anti-simp, basically Memer 2.0, the birthplace of Baytubers. Okay, gay for Ryuga. Okay, pause, homophobic. You know, it would not surprise me because when Burst was airing, there were some people who didn't like Zack because they thought he was too flamboyant, feminine, and gay. And the community was like, even if he was, what's the problem with that? Like, let him be himself. Like, let's be honest, Zack was like the nicest of like most of Vault's rivals from like season 1. Like, one of the few that met him at the jump and wasn't a jerk to him. As for the birthplace of Baytubers, I don't even think my first Beyblade video on this channel was about Ryuga. It was Moti. Okay, now we can move on to Fanboy. Okay, Fanboy. An adult playing with a spinning top toy complains just about anything and everything about the anime and manga. Sims for Ilya and Multi. Baytuber. The most unattractive people in the community. Okay, an adult playing with a spinning top complains about everything and everything about the anime manga. I mean, when it comes to criticizing, I'm very fair on not, like, I feel like because every once in a while, I get someone accusing me of being negative towards one generation, and I feel like based on some content that I put out, some people think that I'm biased towards at least two other generations when I've been fair and partial to all of them. So let me know about this one, at least from what you think from my perspective based on what you see on this channel. As for sipping for Ilya and Multi, Ilya just deserves better in both the manga and the anime, but if we were the same age, maybe, like, I find it a little bit uncomfortable, not gonna lie, because, you know, they're minors and I'm not a minor anymore. But if I ever do a Dynamite battle rewrite, just know that I'm doing some fixes for her. As a part-time Baytuber, I'm not entirely sure that's a compliment or an insult. The most unattractive people in the community, I don't know. Would you guys consider my personality to be attractive or unattractive? Not romantically, of course. Like, just like, yeah, like, I could see myself hanging around this person. Weeb. This one I know people are gonna accuse me of. Yeah, still better than being called a grifter. Anime and manga only. Look, I did not have a lot of money growing up, and I played with it with other people because I couldn't afford them. Then I had brought a few, but I wouldn't have like a few for a generation. There was a time where I was actually able to organize an event because some people had some spare ones, but we couldn't get the second one off the ground because of what happened with COVID. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to have a big tournament like that again, and I didn't want to steal from my college, but I really wish I could do something like that again. I don't know if I would consider myself a loner. It's a bit more complicated than that. Sometimes in the community I feel that way because of the negativity I get for saying things positively about every aspect of Beyblade. But other than that, I guess I just think about that one a little bit. Knows all the characters, songs, seasons, scenes, and events that happen in the show, but can't even name a special move done by a character or even a Beyblade itself. Okay, that one is funny. Alright, tell you what. If I'm ever running late on a video and I need to put out something very late or last minute, I will see how many special moves I can name off the top of my head in less than 11 minutes when I get a chance. Is that fair? Favorite generation is Burst and X. I don't know which one is my favorite to talk about on this channel. I feel like on like those negative people, but then again, most of the hate I get comes from my Burst videos, but I feel like with my Metal videos, people don't watch them enough unless it's about Ryuga, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Okay, Shipper. I don't mind you guys calling me this one. I can draw okay, but I suffer like proportions and stuff. Like, I don't draw Beyblade characters like that, but I will do better than like a stick figure in any other normal circumstance. I feel like my sexuality is relevant, like who cares? I am interested in learning about people's headcanons. Never ship straight ships. I mean, I will always support Kenny and Emily, and I actually don't have a problem with Uni and Multi. Like, naturally, I would just ship boys, girls, but I have no problem with shipping anyone of the same gender or posing in a world like in a world where Bird didn't exist, I would ship Uni and Multi more, but I'm fine with either. I don't know. Regarding the just friends, I feel like in general, people keep putting platonic relationships versus romantic relationships in real life and media against each other, and I feel like you can have both romance and friendships in the same type of shonen. Ooh, hater. Okay, I'm calling most of you guys out on this one. Like, I don't think it's bad to stick to one generation as long as you're not bad-mouthing the others. But I do not have an healthy religious obsession with one generation. And some of y'all have such a hate boner for at least one or two other generations, to the point a question I have to ask would be, what exactly did they do to traumatize you so badly? Because right now, I think Burst went from being the most hated to X. But in terms of the fans, people dog on Metals, even though Burst has done people that just are toxic, but in different ways. Though I'd argue Metal and Burst are both equal in their toxicity. Like, Ryuga is their religion. I do like him, despite some of the things I say about him. But holy crap, the fact that some of y'all act like this dude was on perfect God, could do no wrong despite his many character flaws, gets a little bit unnerving, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, yeah, the people complaining that the Generation 3 was a huge downfall in Beyblade is really ironic, because Burst is the one with the most seasons, to the point that Hasbro commissioned Season 7 to happen in the first place, because the 6 seasons were so successful even outside of Japan. And while I have some issues with Quad Strike, not enough that I call it mediocre, I can easily call out Takara Tomy for not working with Hiro Moria to try and do something with Burst Ultimate, since if they did, we probably would have gotten those Beyblades in the anime instead of Hasbro's. Issue some people need to swallow was that Burst was more financially and longer lasting as a toy line than Metal for almost 6 years and more. Was to the point that even some point out that the point systems, the mechanics in Burst carried over from Burst to X. Also, can people please stop acting like everything after season 2 of Burst is irredeemable garbage? As a Metal fan, I hate when people put a bunch of bad faith criticisms towards it, especially if they started with the original generation. But Metal fans who put that same level of unfair criticism towards Burst, especially on my channel, yeah, it gets really annoying and something I really need to cool down, because I will defend Metal from a lot of things that a certain original fan had said, but we need to keep the same energy and not be so toxic towards one another. Memer, huh? I really need to watch Cyborg because the only person who told me anything about it with someone who really hates metal and just called Cyborg a bad version of LBX Wars. And I like LBX, especially Wars. So I would like to see more of it just to get my own opinion. Fumiya gets way too much hate. If anything, he deserved way more battles, especially in that second half. Zonke is fine, but sometimes he is a bad critic. And after watching Dynamite Battle manga, after reading the Dynamite Battle manga and watching his video comparing the Dynamite Battle anime to the manga, I've noticed a few questionable holes and takes when it comes to his logic, but he's not a bad person, and some of the hate that he gets from the community is a little bit annoying from what I've seen, especially when he's pointed out some things that really call out some really questionable takes in the community. A JoJo reference. Yeah, I'm sure the XU versus 8 fight or any of Queen's wisdom bag grabs brought some of your jokers back. Okay, my editing skills are kind of poor, not gonna lie. Okay, please also watch Dynamite Battle for him. Alright, I need to know, what is everyone's feelings on Phenomenal? I feel like he's a good fit for Dynamite Battle, but they just needed to tweak some things in order to make his backstory with Rashad work more. Because I've seen some people say that he was the worst character in the season and that he should have been the main villain. I don't necessarily agree, especially with the fact that he wasn't a bad person at all. He just really wanted to prove himself and regain his passion. But I would have had him beat Rashad at least on his debut fight, since Rashad kind of just was moping around, even though Rashad kind of deserved it after, he was being kind of a jerk for a valid while. Like, that would have been fun, especially since Rashad beats him at the end. Like, if Pain had beaten him before and Rashad actually learned from that, I would actually make a little bit more sense for character progression. But I'll have to talk about Dynamite Battle and my issues with it another day. Okay, dude bro, this is the one I have a lot to say about. MFs who joined Beyblade just because of the sudden Beyblade Christmas New Year 2003 trend. Again, I don't have a problem with people either getting back into the franchise or getting into the franchise because either they didn't grow up with it or just remembered all that stuff existed because of how crazy it is. What I was not okay with was that the hype backlash and people just praising metal if it's the only super glorious thing that came out in the franchise, and that everything that came before and after was complete trash, especially since without Bakuzen you wouldn't have metal. And I bet you $10 I'm going to have someone in the comment section automatically point out that something besides metal is complete garbage and immediately prove my point. Pretends to be the ultimate fan even when I never posted Beyblade content before for the reason. Honestly, I would say that I could see some people accusing me of that, but the thing is that I've wanted to do Beyblade content for a while, ever since Burst came out, since I was old enough. But until I got CapCut, I had no idea how to make videos properly, since the last time I did so was years ago, and I wanted a proper video editing software. The first video I made for this channel was literally me recording the footage on my laptop with the video recording sharing, and hoping it would work, so I'm really glad that a person helped me get the app so I could start doing this better. And while I haven't spoken to him too much, I actually asked Wildfang about how he makes his videos because I also wanted to do the same thing. Yeah, please chill out with Ryuga. He's cool, but he gets overrated and gassed up to no end. Like, there's other characters in the verse and series to talk about. And stop with the Masamune slander too. Like, there are people on this platform who will talk about him like he's never actually earned a win, yet somehow can pull up every single time that he lost without pointing to the fact that any time he lost is either because he lost to someone who had to hype up, who had to circumstances that most normal people or bladers couldn't deal with, dealt with a cheater, or someone who was chosen by destiny who he still pushed to their limits. Twice. Power scaling is all that they know. Okay, for me, I feel like the problem with power scaling when it comes to Beyblade is that, especially like what season supposed to have metal, there are so many factors that have to be taken into consideration, and I feel like people don't think about that. Like, be honest, until the Shine versus Julian and Amane versus Arthur's final round, if I showed you when Julian and Arthur first showed up when you first started watching the seasons, besides me who always believes in having underdog wins, would you honestly believe at the time that those two would be able to beat those two antagonists later down the line? I wouldn't say sleep on other gens. I think have aggressive fantasies about hating them with every fiber of their being, whether it's healthy or not, fits better. Ooh, Silent One. Those who are fans but don't interact with the fandom. Honestly, if you feel like things are getting too toxic, try to enjoy this franchise on your own time. There's nothing wrong with wanting to step away from the community. Hell, I know people get mad at me for not talking about the toys themselves, but I have seen other content creators recently get under fire for things that really weren't their fault and just being blamed for shit. Like, someone said that Haruren was cloud chasing off two communities, when as far as I remember, he was the lead of the Bakugan fandom during the Generation 2 and 3 reboots, when people were just being ignorant and just downplaying the series. And he's proven, at least from a competitive angle, that he does care about Beyblade, and he puts that same energy he likes into Bakugan into Beyblade. It's just that I watched more of his anime related content than his toy related content, but he does more toy related content, but there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I do talk to Beyblade to my real life friends, though not always. Hates the fan base. No, I don't hate the fan base, but I hate how certain people in the fan base tend to react. and how that ultimately results. And it comes with the vocal minority just having all the community opinions, and people either being too powerless or don't have enough clout, subscribers, or emotion to actually speak up and question those perspectives, which is partially why I also made this channel. Ooh, enjoyer. Enjoys Beyblade overall. Favorite generation is all 4, but hates Bey wheels. Guys, I do not hate Bey wheels. It is the most 6 out of 10 experience. I guess I'm multi-fandom, but I don't know if I've been a fan since 1999 to 2001, because I remember watching the dub before I was 5, but I don't remember what was the first year. Ooh, analyzer. I mean, I've always liked Beyblade. I just don't know that much about other spinning top shows, so I really can't talk about them. I may have to talk about things that Beyblade should have added or included in the show, but I guess that's more of a story and characterization thing. Because I talked about customization, but other than that, I mean, I do have a job. It's the reason why it's so hard for me to make videos so consistently. Okay, that's all I really have to say on the matter. Again, I thought this was fun, and BeyFanCat was the one who made it, so all the credit goes to her. And you can follow her link on Twitter. I'll put it in the description, but let me know what you guys think about all these takes. Tell me which ones you consider yourself or qual founder. Tell me which ones you agree with the most and disagree with the most. Tell me which ones you think I would be under, and what you would consider yourself under. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, because we're trying to get to 800 subs, and telling that to you guys actually works. And BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, signing off.